Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another session of Supr30 from the Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Trades Association. To our viewers, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Trade Association is a representation of MSMEs in the field of HVAC&R, air conditioning and refrigeration primarily, across India. We are a 73-year-old organization of entrepreneurs based in the HVAC&R segment. And like all our sessions, today is another session that we bring you for the 30 minutes, which is on matters related to policies that impact the HVAC&R business. And today's topic is all about the HFC phase down strategy. What is India's HFC, that is hydrofluorocarbons, phase down strategy, and the opportunities and challenges around it? Our guest today, our speaker today, actually really needs no introduction for people who are within the industry. He is Mr. Bambare. Hello, Mr. Bambare. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you? Thank you.
Great. So, to all our viewers, Mr. Bambure has, for over the four decades, held various leadership positions in HVAC&R and the appliances industry. His areas of expertise includes product strategy and management, technology strategy, setting R&D center, product development, quality and manufacturing engineering, productivity enhancement, value analysis and engineering, cost reduction, vendor development, change management, leadership development, and international business development. Mr. Bambura is appointed as India representative member of Technology and Economic Assessment Panel and Refrigerants Technology Options Committee at UNEP. The group is a team of international experts who prepare report for Ozone Secretariat under UNEP. He also actively holds executive leadership positions at industry forums such as RAMA and ISHRE, and has worked with central government regulators as a representative of the industry. So today he comes as an advisor to CEEW. So thank you, Mr. Bambare, for taking time out for the industry to explain to us a very complex and critical topic as HFC phase out, which has an impact within the industry. So, my friends, today this is more about a discussion. And Mr. Bambare, we'd like first you to explain to us the Kigali Amendment and the dates and the schedules.
So even before we get into Kigali, whenever I've been discussing with many from my colleagues in industry, there is an overlap of different phase outs and phase down. So the Kigali Amendment is to the Montreal Protocol, to which presently what we know is that a phase out of HCFCs, which is hydrochlorofluorocarbons, basically to ensure that the ozone depletion doesn't happen, which in the developed countries it has already taken place in 2010. In developing countries, or what we call as Article 5 countries, part of it has happened, part of it has not happened. For example, the R141B, which is used as foaming or blowing agent for insulating foam, has been phased out. In room AC, R22 is phased out. And in ducted systems and bigger systems, 2025, it will be phased out. In the meantime, the alternatives and complete phase out will happen by 2030 in appliances and 2040 in the servicing sector. That means servicing sector also cannot use R22 after 2040. But looking at what is happening, it is all probable that it will get phased out much earlier. Having said so, the alternatives that were decided or arrived at or adopted were HFCs, which had zero ODP. That means that it didn't have any impact on the ozone layer, but they had higher global warming potential. And that triggered the discussion of what to do. And that is where the Kigali Amendment came in, wherein it was decided that the HFCs, which is hydrofluorocarbons, will also be phased down. It is not phased out, but is phased down. And it will start in developing countries. It has started, and that is what was defined in the Kigali Agreement. it will be phased down to 85%. So we can still continue to use 15% of HFCs. So that is what is Kigali Amendment. One important thing that also happened in Kigali Amendment is because it is related to global warming, or the complete life cycle of the equipment was also looked into. And one of the important aspects is the energy efficiency of products was brought in, wherein the new refrigerants should have minimum the efficiency that of HFCs. It should not happen that the new refrigerants are so poor in efficiency that the energy, the impact on global warming because of the consumption of energy is around 85 to 90%. So that also is not neglected. So that is what is Kigali Amendment.
Amazing. And also, what is the consultative process with the stakeholders which is underway, in terms of the collecting the data required for achieving these baseline numbers, which has been mentioned in the Kigali Amendment?
So what is happening is, first of all, unlike HCFCs, HFCs, there are multiple refrigerants that are used presently. The various refrigerants that are used are 410A, 134A, R32, 407C, 404A. And when we ask that why it is considered to phase down so much, all of us know that that the aim is to limit the increase in temperature of the Earth up to 2 degrees centigrade. The modeling shows and the study shows that if we control the refrigerants itself, or the HFCs are brought down to brought down by 85%, then that it can impact up to 0.5 degrees centigrade. That means that 2 degrees centigrade can be brought down only by control on refrigerant to 1.5 degrees centigrade. And that is why it is becoming very, very important. Now, before getting Ajit into the consultative process, let us understand that when and what
brought down to 85%. Brought down.
Sorry, there was a little technical error. Yeah, please go ahead.
No issue. So let us look at what is the time frame.
Then that.
I think, is it sorted out, Ajit?
It's sorted. It's sorted. Yeah, please go ahead.
So in the developing countries itself, there are two groups that are made. The India falls under the group which is Bahrain, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, which is what they call as HAT countries, which is hot ambient countries, and they have got a different phase down timelines. So the first and foremost important is to arrive at the baseline, and the baseline will be the average consumption of year 2024, 25, and 26, and this average will be considered as a freeze. So this freeze will start from 2028 and will continue up to 2032, where the reduction will be 5%. In 32, the further reduction will happen in 37 by another 10%, and by the year 2037, 2042, it will be reduced by around 15%, 70, 80. The last 50% will come in 2042 to 47. So if you look at this, you will find that India has taken a very conservative approach towards phasing out. And one of the most important things to do this is because of that most of the patents of the newer refrigerants will get over. Okay. Now coming to your question of consultative workshops, basically before that also the The important aspect is that India ratified the Kigali Amendment, and then within a particular time, we have to finalize the strategy. Now, the time frame for finalizing the strategy is, or the limit to the date for which we have to finalize the strategy is June 2023, and that is the strategy that will become something like, and when it gets approved and finalized, that will become binding on India, and then it will become binding on the industry also in any form. So the timeline for the building up the strategy is survey and data collection and compilation will be completed by February end. Data analysis and modeling will be by March end. Preparation of draft strategy and policy framework by April, and stakeholder consultation and finalization of the report will be by May end. Out of which the strategy, the survey and data consultation has already started. Okay, and who are covered in this? Air Conditioners Manufacturers Association, which is RAMA, refrigeration manufacturers, ICRA, foam manufacturers, it is IPUA, mobile air conditioners, that is the car air conditioner is ACMA, then refrigerant manufacturers is REGMA, and servicing is covered by RAS. Now, these consultative workshops are done with not only with these, but there are many others who attend these sessions, and then they put forward their views of what are likely challenges, what is required to be done, how it is required to be done, and that forms the basis of the inputs to ozone secretary and ozone cell in India.
Yeah, Mr. Bambare, this is no easy task. This is a very complex goal,
Correct.
complex strategy, and everything. What are the challenges that you actually see in in implementation of the Kigali Amendment and its baselines?
So most important is, even before coming to the challenges, I would like to, what was thought of is that 134A has got a huge consumption in vehicles. All our cars are today with 134A. Not that the technology is not available of the HFOs, but India is only using them for export purpose, not for the Indian purpose. So it is assumed that 134A in MAC will be first phase, will be considered as for phasing down or phasing out, which will give a big relief for the air conditioning industry. Okay. However, there are two challenges which has come in. First challenge is that the COVID 2 years, there was a dip. The first year dip in consumption of refrigerants was about 35 to 40%, and the second year it bounced back, but it still was not equal to the original. So if you see the original trajectory, which was supposed to be there to get an average of 26, 27, 28, whether it will be met or not met is the first challenge. If that is not met, then 2028 freeze line will come down. Okay, and however, somewhere the growth after the Kigali will cross and meet the original projections, and that time, if that projection happens after the average years of 24, 25, 26, then that will be one of the biggest challenges, because the average consumption will limit our total consumption as a country. Okay, so that is the first challenge. Now, the second challenge, we'll have to go subsector wise. I mentioned to you about MAC, but also refrigerants are used as in medical industry for asthma puffs. They are again the propellants there, and there you can't touch them. The second one is in critical fire extinguishing systems, they are used, and there also you cannot touch them. So what will then remaining only is the air conditioner after MAC. Now within room air conditioner also, there are various refrigerants: 410A, 32, 407C, 404A, and chillers is mostly 134A. Plus, there is lot of consumption that is happening in servicing sector. A study indicates that about 40% of the total refrigerant is used in servicing sector. Now,
That's right.
collection of a data itself will become a huge challenge, except for the organized players like companies like Rama, or not companies, member companies of Rama, or companies of Mac sector. They will be able to give the data, but there are so many small manufacturers. How to reach out to them? And as all of you know, the chiller industry is, specifically the process chiller industry, is highly fragmented. Similarly, the refrigeration industry is highly fragmented, and how to reach out to them and collection of the data first itself will be huge challenge.
That's right. So now, since you was talking about the servicing sector itself and the disorganized, I just want to continue that conversation around the servicing sector. That is where you have most of the RATA members also engaged with it,
Correct.
right? So,
Correct.
what is the kind of attention that these companies need to pay more focus on, or what is the kind of participation that these companies need to bring on to make sure these goals are achieved under the Kigali Amendment?
So my suggestion is RAS is representing servicing sector, and of course Rama is also to an extent, because most of the large companies have got their own service departments, or they have got their franchises. So it will be good that RATA takes up this both with RAS as well as with Rama, and be a part of their process to give the inputs to them, and part of the process. So there are standard formats that have been published by Ozone Cell, which we have to fill up and give. But Rama, if you take, there are 27 or 29 members. Okay, it's 27, I think. So contacting 27 members is not very challenging. Okay,
That's
and
right.
they will be, because they are manufacturers, they have got up-to-date data of purchases, what they do, or
Mm.
even if they have got direct servicing, so they got a data. The problem is with the small service and small manufacturers who are the members of RATA. So my suggestion will be, first of all, if RATA gets hold of the forms and formats, either through RAS or through Rama, and start filling them up. You can form a committee, and that committee can start working. Some will be estimate also, and that can be through either both, maybe Rama as well as RAS. You can put forward. So that will be a good beginning, I would say. Having said
Okay.
so, how to reach out to so many people and whether they will respond or not respond itself is a big question.
Yeah, because primarily the industry, as you said, I mean, as you know, is highly disorganized and disconnected, and a lot of
Right.
small businesses spread across, especially in the servicing sector, it is completely disorganized. So trying to get that data and information by itself is going to be a huge challenge, and then getting the participation on board is another important thing. And I guess that's what the whole purpose of RATA was, also to actually bring everybody under one platform. But
And
from here also, sorry,
apart from
go ahead.
this, Ajit, is earlier we had to phase out only two refrigerants. One was
Yeah.
R22, other was 141B. 141B was comparatively not at all there in servicing sector, so it was only R22. Of course, there are some others refrigerant, but very small quantity. Now there is a bigger challenge of which refrigerant, how much consumption, and additional challenges. There can be a confusion in the end users, including the small timers, that it should not, they should not combine R22 data and or HCFC data and
Yeah.
HFC data. So that is another challenge.
Yeah, I guess it's a very complex thing, and some of the expectations that we have around from small enterprises is a little too large, which makes it very complex. But having said that, what are the other options, the technology options that's available to comply with these amendments, the Kigali amendments? What are the other
So,
tech options,
so
technology?
few things is there that I don't know if you recall the last refrigerants presentation I made. If we
Yes.
are to go down to 2047 or phase down 85% of the refrigerant,
Yes.
then the average GWP of the various refrigerants that will be used that time has to be somewhere between 200 and 300. Okay.
Correct.
Now, if you take 410A, it is 2100. If it is 134, it is around 1375, 1400. Uh, in refrigeration, if it is condensing unit, it is 4000, 404A. And in room AC, I don't know whether I should call it as a good or bad, because from environment perspective, it is good. But from the mathematics of Kigali Amendment, it is not good. That many manufacturers already adopted R32, which has got 675 as its GWP. So that is going, and 80% of the refrigerant used in manufacturing is room AC. Okay. And I think it is there for service also. So what has happened due to this is the average of 24, 25, 26 has dramatically come down. Now that will have impact on the overall GWP that is required, average GWP. So what are the alternatives to this? So the alternatives to this are, R290 in small systems like refrigeration, deep freezers, maybe water coolers. In VRF, which is growing at around 12 to 14% year over year, there is no alternative. In large chillers, where we use predominantly 134A, the alternative is HFOs. Okay, now HFOs will have some 3 or 6 or 1, GWP, like 290 is 3 GWP. It is very low, but it is very costly, and the cost of the equipment goes up. Plus, there are some studies that are coming up in Europe, which they are challenging the HFOs use itself, in the sense that HFOs have got very short lifespan, atmospheric lifespan, but that means they disintegrate fast, and they get into either a food cycle or a water cycle, and it can have ill effects. So that itself is a challenge. So the I would say alternative to 134A HFO is a challenge. R32, there is no good refrigerant still available. There is one available, which again it is 475 to 520, 50 GW. It is not close to 300. If you use 290, it is good, but flammability is a challenge. Okay,
that's right.
Now I can say there are challenges everywhere, and 290 as such challenges because of a flammability and servicing. Otherwise, it is a good refrigerant. Okay, manufacturers can take care very well of manufacturing processes. Okay, but when it goes to field, how it will happen is a challenge. Having said so, the same category of 290s are 600, and that is being used by Godrej for last 14 years, 15 years. But the quantity is small, some 50 grams, 60 grams, like that. So if you are asking me a challenge, there's challenge everywhere.
Yeah, because that is a common one. Everyone says R290, everything, but on the other hand, you have an industry which is extremely fragmented, disorganized. You have no certification. You don't have technician certification,
Right.
and you're dealing with a flammable refrigerant. So if it might be a good refrigerant, but if it cannot be implemented, what's the point in having a good one? That's a question that we're all asking. And I guess that's the big challenge when it comes to the servicing sector, which would have a deep impact as far as this is concerned. But let's look at the brighter side. What are the opportunities for enterprises to apply in terms of MLF, multilateral fund and financial support to transition to all these alternatives? Are there any supports which are available? How does one actually apply for these?
So multiple things are happening. Being a part of the UN task force on refrigerants, as well as there is a technology and economic assessment task force, being a part of it at a global level, not only for India, but all developing nations, they are now started working on what should be the funds made available, and what should be the funding mechanism. So that is getting finalized, not yet fully finalized. Usually it finally they make it very simple. It goes like this: per kg of refrigerant used, so many dollars will be available. Okay.
Okay.
And this is available basically for the changes that you have to make for adopting these refrigerants. Like if you have to change any machinery, if you have to put in additional equipment, if you have to give training to your people, if you have to install some safety systems, for that they will arrive at. And when it comes to India, they will say, okay, India consumes so many of HFCs, so much of $1 million, so many $1 million will be available, which which gets further dispersed based on case to case merit, in the sense that a company is consuming, say, so many tons of refrigerant, then they will get that much amount of money, provided they give a proper, what you call it, proper justification and proof. They have made some criteria that the equipment should have been installed before certain cutoff date. Otherwise, people will put on extra capacity and ask for MLF fund, which will not be possible. Okay. Now, Ajit, having said so, I can share with you that the HCFC itself, money couldn't get dispersed. That was available to India because many people didn't apply properly. Many people didn't take necessary steps to avail those benefits.
Yeah. So we just have about close to 2-3 minutes before we wind up. I know this is a very complex, and I know you are one of those people who are one of the thought leaders when it comes to the industry. I want you to actually share with our viewers. One is achieving these Kigali amendments, the challenges. There is no fixed answer to this, but how do you really think a small business owner who's handling servicing, how should he look at it from a threat perspective or as an opportunity perspective, or how should he actually align his business for these changes? What is your personal advice to all these small
So I would put it this way,
entrepreneurs?
Ajit, that 2018-19 base to 2037, the India Cooling Action Plan says 9 to 11 times the industry is going to grow. Okay.
That's
So
right.
from business perspective, there is no threat at all. Okay.
True.
It is going to grow. That is not an issue. Actually, we are going to fall short of capacity. I'm talking specifically of servicing sector. Okay.
Okay.
However, the business models may change. And to be very curt, people who will not be able to adopt the new business models or new way or adopt new knowledge, they are likely to get displaced by other players. Like for example, the Mumbai Kalipili got displaced first by one company, then by Uber and Ola. Now autos are also Uber and Ola. So similar thing, there is a problem that can happen. So best way is to upgrade yourself, be aligned, try to adopt the new technologies of refrigerants, and then that is one. The second is we can represent to the government that what is to be done for the servicing sector, specifically the new equipment that are required, the safety equipment that are required, and keep the data ready of your consumption, keep all the paperwork ready, and that will help in applying for the multilateral funds and the disbursement to those people who are in the servicing industry, or not only servicing, I would say small manufacturers also.
Amazing. So that's the big takeaway actually. So one is keeping your data ready as far as your consumptions are concerned on the refrigerants, adoption of new technologies in terms of upgrading your business, and also enlightening yourself about these changes on refrigerants that is coming in and moving with the times. Amazing. Thank you so much. And that's a lot that we have spoken about in the last 30 minutes about a very complex topic. Not easy, I'm sure, within 30 minutes. But I guess there have been multiple sessions like this, and the idea is every month to bring out an important topic which is of discussion, and in small doses educate the entire industry on the impact of policy changes that can impact our industry and our business. So thank you, Mr. Bambure. Thank you for taking time out and being with us today. As usual, it's always a pleasure to to push your brains and to get that knowledge out from you. Thank you very much.
Creating awareness is the first step, Ajit, which I would like to thank you for taking this initiative and once you trigger a thought process, then the entrepreneurs are very fast, smart, to understand. Once they understand, they act very fast. That is my experience in last 40 years.
Yeah, and knowledge is power. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. Thank you so much, Mr. Bambare. Look forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
you again on our shows. Thank you very much, everybody. See you
Thank
again
you.
next month with another session on Supr30. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.